everyone out in Facebook land. How are you all doing tonight? We are here with Miss Debbie Cushing,
Hi, everyone.
and she's going to show us how to pencil, right?
Yeah. And believe it or not, I'm using Prismacolors and
Oh,
it's on paper.
really?
Well, that's different for me normally.
It's not what you're known for
Right.
by any stretch of anyone's imagination.
Right.
But that's good because, well, we know in a way that Prismacolor is probably the most popular pencil and the most affordable for people just
Mhm.
starting out and trying their luck at
Yeah.
penciling. So that's a good thing in a way.
Yeah. And usually one of my packets, I always use the polychromos, but I always put a list of conversion chart for Prismacolor.
And Lyra Rembrandt, right?
Yeah.
So your packets all include like three different
Yeah.
brands so that people who want to do your classes can see if they don't have those or they don't want to spend the money on those, they can use these
Right.
and get similar results. So
Right.
still be successful. So that's a plus. That is
Yeah.
a big
And I
plus.
get the colors as close as possible. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
they may be a little different from time to time, be just a little different, but for what they're doing, it works out.
Yeah. Like I said, they'll still be successful in like what they've done because
Yeah.
that's the other thing about Zoom is they're not comparing theirs with yours in person, you know?
Yeah.
So they can look at theirs more objectively without saying, well, it's not like hers. It's
Right.
not like my neighbor's, she's better than she does it better than I do, or, that you don't have that.
Right.
You can just really focus on your own piece and love what you're doing.
Hmm.
And if you don't, then the teacher is
Yeah.
here to help you because if you have a camera, the teacher can see what you've done and give you
Hmm.
some helpful hints. And
And the
I
same
think
thing with I'm always using suede board most of the time. So
Mhm.
if they do paper, they just got to use their pressures different.
Oh,
They need to do light pressure and then build up their color instead of pressing hard the first time out.
oh,
Because there's lots of tooth on the suede board. So,
that's a difference between paper and suede
mhm,
board. Okay, cool. Now the ones you use, the polychromo, so those wax base or are they oil base?
they're oil based.
And that is what you do on the suede board, and it kind of
Right.
it's
And what
it.
I'm going to show tonight, I couldn't really tempt it too much with those pencils because once I use hard pressure, some colors I just can't put back over.
Okay.
Now I can on suede board, but I can't on paper.
There you go.
And so that's why I use the Prismacolors on here because you can put a little bit more color on top of another color.
If you have light pressure, like you said before.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we'll be doing is the last color we're going to use is like burnishing, but we're
Oh,
using a color to burnish with.
oh, cool.
So, and
That's
that
going
way
to
it
be
gets down into the little crevices and stuff.
right because that's the burnishing is more pressure.
Right.
Very
So that
good.
you can get down into the little, the paper always has those little holes in them, it seems like. And you'll see that when I begin. So
Uh-huh. So it sounds like we're going to learn a lot tonight, people.
I hope so.
And you're going to love what you get after you're done. It's going to be great. So
Yeah.
they,
And this
they
is small enough you could put on a card or you can put it on, glue it to a card or, if you're using a different color and
or a cradle board if you're using a piece that's that same size as a cradle board, right?
yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff. Um, so there, ooh, I didn't mean to do that.
I'm trying to remember where I put the paper I was using. Well,
Mhm.
it's Mennonite or whatever however you say it.
Okay, I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing your evening with us or being here to share it with us. If you have any questions for Debbie, please go ahead and put them in the comments and I will uh, let her know what they are. We do encourage you to purchase pattern packets from the artists when we do these Watch, Learn, and Creates because that's the way the artists can continue making art for us and not have to go get our real job. So we want to keep them creating for us. So please support the artists during these Watch, Learn, and Creates by buying their pattern packet, and then you get to do it along with them. And the replays will be available on Facebook for, I think, 30 days, but we are going to start putting them on YouTube at some point, and I don't want to put a date out there and fall short, but pretty soon we'll be putting them on YouTube. Right now, a lot of them are in the Watch Learn in the library, the Artful Webinars library. So to find them, you go to past events, under events, the past events, and usually if you click on the ad for that particular Watch, Learn, and Create, I will have posted the video there and you can watch it there. Again, like I said, for 30 days because Facebook is running out of space, so they're going to start deleting all that stuff. And then if you are watching the replay, thank you so much for being here to watch the replay. You too can ask questions. All you have to do is put an @ in front of Debbie's name and put Debbie Cushing, and she'll be made aware that there is a question for her, and then she will come back and answer your question. So if anyone here live has a question after the fact, after the live ends, you can do the same thing. The @ and Debbie Cushing, but make sure there's no space between the @ and the D in Debbie. So, and then if you are doing it with her, please go ahead, let us know. Post your finished product underneath this thread or as a separate entity, a separate post, and you can put her tag us with that @ and so we can go check it out. I'm sure it's going to be adorable because it's just a beautiful piece. But in the meantime, I am going to say, why don't you take it away, Debbie?
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you enjoy this. It's a little different for me, but it would probably be a lot easier for some of you that use the Prismacolors all the time and like to work on paper. I'm going to switch my camera here. We're going to work on this piece, and this is, I thought it was a midnight paper, but it's this Strathmore's pastel paper, and it has different colors in here, and this just happened to be a, whoops, it's kind of a bluish green color. And I had a scrap of it, so I had practiced something on it and thought, well, I'll just do this little deal. And of course, you can see this piece of paper is not quite as big, but it'll work. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. And I don't have a whole bunch. Well, I do have a bunch of colors. But anyway, we'll get started so that we can hopefully get this done. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, looks like my camera's up as far as I can go. Okay, I transferred the pattern on and I went ahead and outlined it with some colors that were basically going to have those particular things on. We're going to start off with the center, and I'm going to take this poppy red because we're going to have to work around these colors. I hope you can see this okay. But I'm just going to go in here and just go around here and using kind of a medium pressure. I'm just going to put in some little circle dots in here. And then on the back side, since it's going curving over, I'm going to put them on the outside since they're sticking up. Then you can put in as many as you want. And then I'm going to take the ultramarine, if I can find it. Yeah, the ultramarine. And I can put more light if that helps. And I'm going to fill in the center. And you want to make sure you got your pencil sharp. And I want to fill in around all those little dots because we don't want to run over them. And I'm kind of using little circles to fill in. But I thought this little flower and the little butterfly would just be something you could do for a card or whatever you would like. And I'm kind of going to go over it several times because I want to kind of get it filled in. You can see the little bumps in there, which, like I said, if you have a pretty sharp pencil, it can get down in there. I'm going ahead and using just a little bit more pressure because I really don't want any holes in there. Okay. Next, we're going to use the black. And I want to fill in over this blue and around these little dots. I'm not going to come up past my edge. Or over the top of the, we're just doing this little bit of bottom half. Sometimes it wouldn't hurt just to even circle your dots so that you're at least close. You know, I made them a little bit brighter. And I'm kind of using quite a bit of pressure to get down in there.
So you prefer a very sharp pencil over a dull?
Yeah, I mean, yes, sharp, sharp. Because a dull pencil's not going to get down into those little crevices.
So what kind of paper is this?
It's pastel paper. It is the
Okay.
Strathmore pastel
Strathmore.
paper, yeah.
Oh,
And there's
cool.
different colors in here.
So, but is it as bumpy as the Meton's paper?
The back side is bumpy. I don't know if you can see
Not
the
really.
ridges, but this side is I'm using the smoother side.
Aha, okie dokie.
I forgot to mention that. Oops, that's the black. I don't want the black. I still have a little bit of the paper showing through here, so I just want to go make sure I get right down in those little crevices. Like I said, you get a sharp pencil, it's going to get down in there. Okay. Then I want you to take your white, and what we're going to do is I'm going to use heavy pressure, and I just kind of want to, whoops. Now it's not going to be white because it is got the blue underneath, but I'm just going to make little wiggly lines, just like little dashes, just to kind of give it a little bit of,
So
I guess.
Jean has a question. Do you ever use the bumpy side of the paper?
I haven't, but then again, I don't use paper very often.
Right. I was gonna say that you're more of a suede board artist, but that's good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone uses the bumpy side.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose if you were doing like chalk or actual pastels, you
Hmm.
could probably it would probably, now I'm lost in thought.
Be fine. Yeah. Um, Debbie,
Um,
also Sue would like to know, what is your favorite sharpener? That's a good question.
I have a electric,
The Bosch.
yeah. Oh, there's the name. Yep, yep. The camera's backwards. I don't know which way I'm going. There we
That's
go.
okay. Boss stitch. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like this one. Now, I did order a different one that I picked up at Walmart. It's this same brand,
Okay.
and it's a little bit bigger and a little bit more heavier, but I couldn't unplug it. I mean, you unplug it, but this one here has a deal in the back that you can leave it plugged in and just unplug it to go empty it
Oh,
without having to unplug the whole thing. And
cool.
for some reason, I like this better. My other one, I've had it for so long it quit. So I bought that other one, which I
Hmm.
didn't like as well. So I went ahead and ordered this one. And I wanted to make sure it was this one.
Right. Now, Jean's asking, how is suede board different than paper when penciling? Is it more difficult?
No, um, not really. Uh, let me, I was trying to find where my paperwork went. Hmm.
Well, like we said earlier, that the suede board allows you to apply more pressure and still
Mm-hmm.
build values, layers, whereas paper, Jean, but Debbie said you have to be a very light touch and
Right.
build lightly, because if you press too hard, you're done.
Okay, I tried to use the Prismacolors on this suede board, but it's just a real soft um, board.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, I didn't like the way it was coming out
Ah.
using the Prismacolors on here for
Mm-hmm.
me. So, I mean, somebody else might like it, but
And that's because they're wax based, right? And
right. So the
suede board
colors,
does, yeah, suede board, it probably lends itself more to the oil based ones, do you think?
right, because it blends in better and you can,
Mm.
it's kind of like oil painting where you can kind of blend the colors together a lot for me. Now, other people, that use these colors or pencils probably do pretty good. I mean,
Mm.
it's just your preference, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
You like how the Lyra Rembrandt feels on the suede board, and it gives you more, it gives, you said gives you more ability to blend colors. Is that right?
Right.
Hmm. Now, it says, Karen says, I was sharpening pencils before class when I emptied the container. It then refused to start again. Oh no.
Uh-oh. I kind of had that problem with this one at one point. I thought, no, I just got this pencil sharpener, but there's a little tongue that goes down. And I think what it was doing is I had my pencil going at an upper angle and I needed to go a down angle to
Oh,
press that button
oh,
to get it to
interesting.
go.
Very interesting. Try that, Karen. Sue's saying suede board's not easy to find in Ontario. I have been
Oh,
asked to buy large sheets of it when I do find it, but that's too much for me to use.
yeah.
So cut it up and sell it to your friends.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I have shipped to Canada before, but it costs so much just to
Yeah.
ship it.
Yeah,
And it just,
it's crazy.
yeah. Okay, now that we got that done, I'm going to take the ultramarine again, and I kind of want to just use light pressure, kind of just go over that just a little bit to shade up just a little bit more at the bottom, and that's just using light pressure. Okay, now with the daisy, and here you're going to see a lot of that bumps through here. I'm going to go and add my stripes, whatever they're called. And I'm kind of using a medium pressure for these. Here, I think I'll give him 3 of them since he's bigger. And then I'm just going to go and use a light layer for now on these white. But you can see that I'm not getting in there with all the bumps, but that's okay for now because we'll be getting it done later. These are just the inside petals. I guess you could call this like a base coat.
So you're not filling them in completely solid necessarily. You're still seeing some of the paper through it.
Right.
Mm.
And see, my pencil, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of flat
Mm.
right here from where I've been just going back and forth.
Uh-huh. And that's why
So
you twist the pencil in your fingers often.
I do. It seems like it sometimes, I know when I'm working with the other colors, it seems like every time I pick up my hand, I twist.
Mm-hmm. Now the petals with the stripes, those are the ones that are underneath
Right.
the back petals. Okay.
Yes, those are the back petals. Okay, now we got those filled in. And you can go over it again to kind of build up the colors just a little bit more, but um, talk about the pencil sharpener not working.
Oh no.
It was
And
doing that thing again. But you could always sharpen your pencil and come back again and fill them in a little bit more. But by the time I get done, most of these will be filled in.
right, but always remain with the medium to light pressure. Don't do heavy, right?
Right. Because we're going to put layers on top of this. So, but like I said, you could go over it several times and that builds up some color. I've been wanting to try drafting film, but when I've tried, I don't know how. I think I just need to watch somebody that teaches it to see what they actually do.
So what's drafting film?
Well, it's just like a see-through paper, um, and it's slick.
Is it like Duralar?
Um, yeah, kind of like your transfer paper, or
Mm.
it's it is really slick.
You mean tracing paper, like vellum?
Yeah, like vellum. Uh,
Well, you'll have to, do you have some?
yeah, I do.
So it says
This,
Duralar on it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like a real.
A thicker tracing
Yeah,
paper.
the paper's kind of thick, but it's kind of see-through. And I mean, if a person wanted to, uh,
We should do a demo on the different papers and how pencil takes to the different papers. That would
yeah,
be
but see how you
that
can
would
see
be
through it.
yeah, that would help everybody. Mm.
So, but it's just really slick.
Mm.
And I've seen people that do this with this paper, and their stuff is fantastic.
Mm.
But I know you got to use really light layers. And then I've heard some say they even put some on the back
Yeah.
and on the front. So like I said, I'd have to watch somebody to see how they would do it.
Mm.
Okay. Next we're going to take the Dahlia purple, and we're going to use heavy pressure here. And I kind of want to work around the white lines. Now I know I've kind of covered some of it up, but we can go lightly over those white lines. But here you want to make sure you use a sharp pencil. fill all that in so you don't have any lines showing, or any bumps, I mean. Yeah, I thought about that on different papers, and I've got different pencils.
That would be really cool.
I kind of did that with some fish that I did. I used regular um, black paper. I used some black suede board. And like I said, I want to go over lightly over the white.
I just bought a set of, um, oh Lordy, I think they're ink tense pencils. Have
The
you
what pencils?
ink tense? I think they're like a watercolor. I'm
Huh.
not sure, but I'm anxious to get them and try them out.
Well, I have about every brand.
Yeah, Bonnie wrote, I thought you normally used Faber-Castell. Have you
Yeah.
changed preferences or used both? So I think you,
Well, I know some people teach and they use different pencils because of the different colors. So they'll mix their pencils. But since I'm teaching and making pattern packets, I try not to try to stick with one brand, and
hmm,
then, of course, have the conversion chart. That way, you don't have to go in and buy all the different pencils. But I've got pastel pencils, I got the Lyra pencils. Um, oh, I forget what the Prismacolors fine point ones are. I bought some Castle pencils.
what are those?
Um, Castle Arts
Hmm.
sells them. And
Are those wax based or oil?
they, well, I guess it depends on which ones you use. They've got several different deals. They have a pastel colors, which when I first got them, I thought they were pastels, but the colors are pastel,
Oh, yeah, it's
right? And
describing
they
the
call
color
them
intensity. Yeah.
harmony pencils. I mean, they go with other pencils.
Hmm.
I'm always liking to try different things. So,
Hmm.
and like I said, I've got all these different brands, and I got Durant, I got the watercolor pencils, I got from different brands, and
Never enough time in the day to play with them all, though, huh?
no, not really.
That's why I keep saying when I retire.
Well, since I retired, it seems like I'm more busier than I am before.
My mother said the same thing. She thought when she retired, she'd be able to go out to lunch with her friends and all this stuff. And no, she was busier than ever.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been busy creating art, so that's exciting. I can't wait for you to be able to show at the end of this program. She's going to show you the things she's created so that you can sign up for classes in the future. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I've kind of ventured off a little bit with the fantasy type things lately. Well,
Yeah, they're adorable though. So
yeah.
Jean's saying we have to at least live until we are 164 years old. And I don't know how I found the time to go to work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course, my house doesn't get as clean as it used to be.
Yeah, I know, huh? How's
And my
that?
husband, he's having to go outside and take care of the koi ponds. He said, well, this was your hobby. So now he's out having to clean the pumps and all that stuff.
There you go.
But this kind of makes the colors pop. And there's a lot of colors. I mean, Faber-Castell has 120 colors, whereas Prisma has 150. So
Wow.
there's some colors that I wish Faber-Castell had with the polychromos that they don't have.
Mm.
And just like a regular pink, there's no regular pink.
Hmm.
Okay. Oops, forgot to go over the white. So we got that so far. Now we're going to take the white. Mine's getting pretty short. I don't even think I have any other ones. With my polychromos, I order like a dozen black and a dozen white at a time. So when I was going through, I've got two sets of these Prismacolors, but this the biggest white I got out of both of them. Okay, we're going to go back over and I'm going to use heavy pressure and see how that kind of changes the color. Well, I don't know if you can or not, but this kind of changes the stripe to more of a reddish, I don't know what color you want to call that, the crimson color, but it's not white. And that's just going back over. Now that one, I didn't put any of that purple over the white. I like bright colors. Um, I guess that's why I like the heavy pressure and of stuff. Or do you want to call that bold? And two, with the paper, you can use, if you make a mistake, you got your kneaded erasers and your electric erasers and
That also it makes a difference on suede versus paper too, right? Like
right. On
what kind of
suede, I
eraser?
use Scotch Magic tape.
Oh,
You
you don't use a kneaded eraser on suede board?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
But you take a piece of tape, and if you make a boo boo, you can just put that tape over your boo boo. And of course, that's in there pretty heavy. So hopefully, you catch your boo boo beforehand. But you can just keep lifting and keep putting the tape over to lift off as much as you can until so you can at least fix it. But it just takes it off just a little bit. Like I said, you have to go over it several times to get it
Mm,
to lift off.
But you can lighten the color if you put it on too heavy or yeah,
Right,
if you started something and you didn't want it there.
right. Usually it's the color that I may have put on that I didn't want there. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the Delia purple, which I kind of like that color. And we want to kind of go in here and add our purple stripes on the white. I'm just going to make a line down the center, and then I want to go ahead and add a curved line on either side. I'm not coming clear down to the bottom. I think that needed to have a little bit more in that. And I'm kind of using a medium to heavy pressure. I mean, not trying to press too hard. Okay. Yeah, I'm using medium pressure. Okay, then we're going to use Perma Violet. And I want to use light pressure in some areas and medium pressure. More medium pressure down here at the bottom. And I'm just kind of going back and forth. There's going to be more where these petals are longer. And then on these short ones, they're just going to be a little bit because they're coming up and out. And then I want to add some of it at the bottom of the petals where it looks like they're kind of folding over just a little bit. Well, it's not a lot, it's just a little bit. Of course, when the person does these things on your own, you kind of can take your time a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to just take your white, and here we're going to go over those petals, and we're going to use heavy pressure, and we're going to blend all that together on these white petals. Again, you want to make sure your pencil stays sharp. And that kind of changes the color a little bit. So your perma purple that you have at the ends is going to be a little bit lighter. And your stripes are going to be a little bit redder. Sometimes you can only get so much wax on here.
You want to bring it down a little bit towards you? There you go.
Thank you. And this is kind of like burnishing. They do have burnishing pencils that are clear that you can go over things, but even on my other suede board and stuff, I do what I call a burnishing with my other colors, but usually I don't have to put a heavy pressure on. It just helps blend the colors together. I might not have enough pencil.
Do you find you go through the white fast?
Oh yeah. Especially if I'm working on something that has a lot of white in it. That's why I usually go and buy a dozen. And some of the other colors, that's one thing good about, I'm sure there might be other places, but like the Dick Blick materials, you can buy individual pencils there. You don't have to buy a whole set. So I just go through all my pencils and order enough of whatever color. So I've always got those colors on hand. And of course, there's some colors that you don't hardly use at all. But most of my yellows and most of my, see, I got another little bitty pencil from the other set. Anyway, I always just make sure I have extra pencils on hand. I think on the last project I was working on, which I'll show you later, that I just finished, I bet I went through 2 white pencils. Because sometimes I'll use my white, whether it's heavy pressure or light pressure, to blend my colors together sometimes and soften them. I hate to keep sharpening my pencil to get down into these grooves here because I don't have much left. So there's going to be some. My fingers are getting, I almost can't hold on to the pencil. Of course, I guess that's where a manual sharpener would probably come in handy.
Have you ever tried using the straw? I know some of the artists they were using straws, and then I guess there are extenders, professional
Yeah, I
extenders.
have some extenders. Um,
And then I also heard some people just glue a pencil to the end.
yeah, I've heard that too. Well, I know Prismacolor, you and some of the other pencils, you can get extenders with no problem. I know, um, like I've got these extenders, but these pencils will fit in there, but my polychromos, this is a polychromos, will not. They're too big.
So yeah, so people be careful when you go buy them. Yeah, that it would fit.
Yeah.
Make sure it fits. Hmm.
So yeah, that there's always cons and pros about all kinds of pencils. So,
Hmm.
but just kind of go over it until you get it all filled in. It just does help having a extender on here. Okay, now we got the petals there done. Um, I'm going to go back with the Delia purple. I'm trying to read my instructions of what I did do. Oh, sharpen it. Guess I'm just going to go back over some of this for the shading, especially if I got over it with the white. And if you get a really sharp pencil, you can get down in between some of them petals, kind of separate them just a little bit more. Plus, it'll help you clean up your edges of the white part. So I'm off the screen again. It's just to go back over and clean up any edges. And anything else you might have missed. Because you know, sometimes when you're going over something over the top of something, you get kind of out. pressure wax pencils like these, you don't get a lot of dust. I get quite a bit of dust, and I want to darken up some of those. Um, when I'm working on the suede, especially if I'm going heavy, it will um, there. And then if you want to brighten up your lines, you can just kind of use a little bit of the light pressure on top of those lines just to kind of bring them out just a little bit more. Kind of defines them a little bit better. And that's just pretty much using a pretty sharp pencil. So there you have that part all done. Um, and if you think you feel like you need a little bit more perma, you can always kind of go back a little bit and add just a little bit more on top of that. It's just more or less your preference, especially if you lost quite a bit of it. Oh, anyway. Okay, on the bud and this flower, on this little bud. First, I want to take white, hopefully sharp. I kind of want to go ahead and make some of these highlight type lines in through here. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little petals. And I am kind of using about a medium pressure. Okay, now we're going to take the Delia purple again. And I want to go over the little bit that's showing out of the top of this little green area. And this is going to look pretty sloppy. But I'm going to go over everything. Want to, like I said, it looks pretty rough. And then I want to add a little bit to the ends of these petals. And then we're going to take violet, which is a darker purple. And I'm going to use medium pressure on it, and I'm going to go back over this little bud. And then I'm just going to fill in between the white areas. Make it darker down here at the bottom. I know this is a hurry job, so I'm trying to be careful. Okay, now we're going to go back to the white. I'm going to use heavy pressure, and I'm going to go over this whole petal, and that kind of fills it in, and it kind of blends the colors together. And then I want to go back over these white lines. So now it's blending that kind of together so that it's not rough looking. And then I'm going to take the perma violet, and I'm going to use some heavy pressure and go on the dark part. And then ultramarine. And I kind of want to use it just down here at the bottom, where it goes behind the greenery. I know there's a word, but I can't think of it right at the moment. And I'll add just a little bit right here at the bottom. Okay. And that kind of takes care of the flower part. Now I want to take apple green, which is the lighter color. I'm going to use medium pressure, and I want to go and fill in the green. And I'm trying to get it pretty solid. Well, I guess I didn't get to the leaves yet. Okay, let's finish up the buds, stems and stuff. I'm going to take the grass green, which is a little darker. And I'm going to do my shading, which I'm just going to shade a little bit down here where it's behind that, and then down here. And I'll just make a line down on the bottom of that. And I'm going to put a line through there. And then I'm just going to, I'm using heavy pressure on it. I'm just kind of shading down at the bottom. And then I'm just going to run some streaky lines up using a little bit lighter. So it helps if you got your pencil sharp. And basically the same thing over here. There's not a lot there that you can do with that. It's pretty tiny. And then we'll shade the bottom of this. And just kind of lighten it up as you come up. And then I kind of just add on the bottom of the stem. Oh, I forgot. There's another stem to that bud. Okay. I forgot a color. Oh, where's my present colors? Ah. Want canary yellow. What other color I forgot to get out? Hopefully that's it. And I'm going to use heavy pressure, and then I'm just going to use it for the highlights. Okay, so that takes care of that part. Guess if you wanted to make that separate little pods there, you can kind of go in between. Okay. Now we're going to fill in the rest of the stems and leaves with the apple green. So I guess I was okay on that part. Hopefully I don't have you all too bored. I'm working as quick as I can.
You're doing fine. Bonnie's saying polychromos question. Can you use with Lyra at the same time? No one has been sure about this.
Use Lyra.
Lyra Rembrandt, is that oil based?
Yes.
And it's polychromos oil based?
Yeah.
Then I think
As,
You should be able to use them both at the same time if they're both.
Yeah, yeah. Um, most of the colors that are the same have the same number on them. Um, well, here, I think even in these instructions, I put the purple. Usually I use these, but if you go polychromos and the polycolors almost have the same number. Like black has 199, this has 099.
Ah.
And white is 101, and this is 001. Um, there are some colors that they don't have anything, but it's close. Like the Delft blue, they have 41 or 141, and here it's 041. So some colors will match up. So, but then, but they don't, since they only got like, I think 60 colors versus 120, there's some things that I have to see what's closest. Or if I can't find anything too close, I just say that's not available. But yeah, you can use polychromos and the Lyras together because they're basically, like I said, I don't know if they're the same company or they come from the same manufacturer or what, but it is strange that their numbers almost match up on certain colors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that we got those all filled in, um, we'll take the grass green and do the shading. And I'll use heavy pressure in the darkest areas, and then I'll use lighter pressure in the lighter areas. So here we've got dark down at the bottom. And I am going to go ahead and bring out my stem or vein. And here I'm just going to put this down on the tip. And then where it goes under here. And then I'm just going to use light pressure. And you can see it's bumpy. It's not solid at this moment. I'm using the heavier pressure where it's the darkest, and then lighter pressure over the rest. You should still be seeing some of that apple green underneath.
Well, here's a question from Judith. Why are you not using a hardboard under your paper?
Good question. Because I'm not used to using paper.
So she goes, I would never consider using a padded surface when using hard pressure for blending. So that makes sense.
Well, I guess having this, it's kind of hard to keep this up. But yeah, normally I would use a hard surface.
Well, suede board's hard. It's, yeah.
Yeah, suede board, it's pretty thick, really. So it is kind of a hard board. Okay, well, we got dark here. Mainly dark, because this is kind of behind the flower and the flower's kind of got it shaded. And then I'll go lightly over the rest of it. Sharpen my pencil again. There's a little leaf that goes over part of that stem. I'm going to darken up my stem. And then this leaf. And then lightly over the rest. Like I said, that's looking pretty rough. Then the stem behind, or the leaf behind this leaf.
Here's another question from Lois. Is Prismacolor the only waxed base pencil?
I don't think so. Um,
What's Derwent? Is that
um,
can Caran d'Ache have a regular pencil as well?
we'll just find out real quick. Who are we talking about?
Wax base pencil.
Um, okay, now here it says Lyra is a soft wax based. Oh, that's the Lyra's giant skin tones. Um, Caran d'Art Luminous.
Dash. Yeah, Caran d'Ache.
They say they're a wax based pencil. Derwent. They don't really say, they just say a unique creamy texture with a velvety finish. So I'm going to say it's more
Yes.
what would probably be oil.
Yeah, it sounds more oil.
Now, the Diart Pablos say it's wax based, but soft and creamy. DeWint Artist pencils are wax based. Prismacolor is a wax base with thick, soft lead.
So what was the one that we weren't sure it didn't say?
Which one?
Which one wasn't the brand that said it was just creamy based?
Good question.
Like 3 pencils.
Probably ought to write all this stuff down.
Well, I think you can Google it. I just Googled is Derwent color pencils wax, and they said yes, they're wax based.
Okay.
So I guess you just got to kind of
Yeah.
and search on your computer to find out which ones are wax and which ones are oil.
Yeah. I think it just depends on, some of them could be called waxed But if they got a creamy, their leads might be softer, maybe. I'm not real sure. Like I said, I hadn't really gotten into much.
Yeah, I just put in what brands of colored pencils are wax based, and it's Premier, Prismacolor Premier, Crayola, Arteza, Caran Dash Luminance,
Uh-huh.
Derwent.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Bruzel, Bruynnzeel.
No, I ain't heard of them either.
Stettler, Winsor Newton Studio Collection. So those are all wax based.
Hmm.
Good to know, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's loving your flower. They think it's so beautiful, coming alive and soft and delicate.
Okay, and then I'm going to go lightly over the rest of these. Okay, now, um, here I want to take the canary yellow, and I'm going to use medium pressure in the lighter areas, and I'm going to add in the lighter areas of the. So I'm just kind of going to add in some highlight here and there. I'm not even looking at what my other one was. I'm just adding.
The oil-based ones are the Faber-Castell, I guess, Polychromos,
Uh-huh.
and Lyra's Rembrandt Polycolor.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says Caran d'Ache Pablo line is another popular choice, though some sources indicate they are also wax-based. And Derwent also produces oil-based colored pencils like their Light Fast line. Light Fast line. So cool, huh? I'm learning a lot about all the colored
Yeah.
pencils.
I'm going to go over these little mini filler leaves. So anyway, oh, I need to add a little to the stem. So I added that. Now I'm going to take the apple green again, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use heavy pressure, and I'm going to just blend everything together. I'm just going over all of it. You'll still have your dark, and we're not done shading, so I'm going over everything that's green. That kind of smears the colors together. Plus it fills in the little holes in the paper. Yeah, there's all kinds of things I want to try. Like that, like I said, that I've got all these different pencils. I'd like to work them and see how they differ on different stuff. And still paper and try different papers. But then it's one of those things, you know, do I want to use them for pattern packets or not? Because that means different brands of pencils again for somebody else, you know, or just use it for my own stuff that I don't, you know, don't make a pattern out of. When I first started out drawing, I always drew on big stuff. I mean, large paper, that newspaper print, and I'm talking like as a not quite teen yet. And when I started painting, I was always using the 32 by 40, whatever it is, canvas boards, and now I can't see myself doing anything that huge anymore. Of course, I look back on some of the stuff that I did do, and it's like, oh my God, that's terrible. But I thought it was cool back then.
I think we all do that though.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to take black and we're going to use very light pressure. Make sure I got black. I keep picking up the violet. And here I want to just use really light pressure. I need to tape that sucker down, don't I? And I'm going to just put it where it's the darkest. I mean, even using light pressure, it still comes out pretty dark. So I guess it just depends on where all you want to put it. I might just add a really light line so that shows up a little bit. One thing about it, you can always make it your own, and if you want to be bold and see, things are starting to get shiny because of the wax buildup. Of course, there's always different ways you can use. Oh, my brain's gone dead just a little bit. Um, Gamasol, I think that's what it's called. If you wanted to add that on, it thins out your pencils. kind of like a um, watercolor, I guess. Isn't it weird? Your person just knows what it does, but you can't describe it. Put a little black back there. Like I said, I'm just barely touching down with the pencil. I'm gonna add just a little bit down here. A little bit under here. Just put it wherever you think you need a little darker. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to take grass green and we're going to go over all the places we did the black. That way it kind of blends it in. And you can kind of see I'm getting it's like digging in and taking off some of the pencil, the wax. Ah, that will kind of blend it in a little bit better. Pencil's getting kind of dull. Okay, that kind of blends it all more together. Smooths out that black because it was pretty rough looking when you first put it on. Okay. Oh, back to the canary yellow just a little bit. I think. Yeah. just kind of go over with some heavy pressure over some of the lighter areas again. And you can kind of blend them into some of that other colors so that it, like right here, it just seems like it needs a little bit more blending in. This leaf didn't come out very good. Whoops, I got out of line on that. You know, even if a person wanted to, you could take some of your purple colors and tint on some of the leaves too, if you wanted. Yeah, I think that turned out better. Those are more blended. Okay, I don't know, what time is it? Are we doing okay, Cindy?
It is 8:38, but you still got the butterfly to do, so go
Okay.
for it.
Okay, butterfly. We are going to take a sharp black. And I want to use heavy pressure and add in his little antennas. And I'm going to try to go around and leave a little spot for his eye. And outline his body. Darken it up right here where his neck is. And then I'm just going to fill in lightly with the rest. Oh, I might as well just bring out a leg. So he's sitting on the flower. I'm going to use heavy pressure and I'm going to outline. I should have done this in black instead of the purple but at the time I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, what colors I was going to start using. See how my line got thicker because I don't have a sharp pencil? Ah, that's another thing about Prismacolor for me is sometimes these leads break so easily because they are soft core. Where polychromos, believe it or not, is a little bit of a harder core. I rarely break anything on my polychromos, except for maybe when I get a pencil too sharp, that very tip will break off because it's so thin. Okay, now we're going to take white. And I'm going to see if I can sharpen this pencil. Oops, I can only go so far with this thingy on it. And I'm just going to use heavy pressure and I'm just going to make my little circles. I'm just kind of space them out evenly. . 'Cause. Okay. And if you feel like you didn't leave enough, you could always make a dot for his eye. Okay. Now I want to take Imperial Violet. Imperial Violet. Which is kind of a bluish purpley color. And I'm going to go and fill in around those dots. I think what I'll do is try to circle them first so that I don't. Okay. And then I'm going to use heavy pressure. And fill in between them. And here you do want to have a sharp pencil so you can get in between all that stuff. Anything else anybody wants to know about? Okay, now
Not right now. Everybody seems to, they love the flower and now they're loving what you're doing with the butterfly.
okay, good deal. Okay. Right now I'm going to use kind of medium pressure in this part. I'm going to go ahead, since it's close to this, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit heavier pressure by the dots. Okay, this spot and that spot, let's just take care of it right now so we don't lose it. I want to add poppy red. Okay, so now we don't accidentally cover it up. Like I said, I want heavier pressure here where I'm close to these dots. Okay. Whoops. I boo-booed. I think the Imperial Violet was just supposed to be there. And then Ultramarine was supposed to be here. So we'll just go over it. Not a big deal. You're just gonna have it just a bit of a different color is all. That's one thing to be said about reading your instructions before you do. Okay. Now we're going to use the white again, which I'm going to see if I can sharpen with my manual thingy since I can't get this in my pencil sharpener anymore. We're going to use heavy pressure, and we're going to go all the way up to where it meets that purple that we did around the dots. So we don't want to go all that far up. And this kind of just blends this all together. See how it kind of changes the color just a little bit? So now we have more of a blue butterfly than a purple butterfly. Of course, on the screen it looks blue to me, but it looks like kind of a lavender. And then back to your black. That didn't get very sharp. And to just kind of go around him again. Ah, kind of makes that black pop back out. Okay. Oh, ultramarine blue. And I just kind of want to go down here at the bottom by the body, kind of darken that up just a little bit. And it imperial blue or violet that we did on here, just kind of bring it down into this just a little ways. There. Okay. Now we're done. say you look it over and tweak anything that you think you need to be tweaked. Now this stuff, you can always spray with fixative or whatever when you're done. Now when I'm working on suede, I do not do that because it will wet the suede and it makes it really stiff instead of soft looking. So, but anyway, there's that one, and here's this one. So that somewhat close to the same.
Yeah,
I think I have
beautiful.
stripes down here a little darker or more purple on it than, and I pulled more purple or that one
Around the
color
outside
down.
edges of those petals, yeah.
Yeah, so
No, but hey,
they're
that's
close,
great.
you know. But that's it for that. Um, before I switch cameras, do you want to see what I'm going to be teaching?
Absolutely.
Okay,
So Norma was asking if all your pencils were Prisma. Those are just the ones you used tonight were all Prismacolor ones, right?
correct.
Yeah, you didn't mix and match.
Now, all these I'm going to show you are done with polychromos and on suede board.
And Bonnie's saying you can't make color mistakes on butterflies. They come in all colors.
That's true. Very true. Okay, here's the first one. This is I'm doing a series of, how come that won't go down?
Bunnies.
I don't know why. I can't get the whole thing in there.
That's okay.
Maybe if I flatten it out.
There you go.
But this is my Daisy Bunny. And this one's going to be this coming Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you can see it any better with the light not being quite shiny on it. But this is where I've done a lot of the blending colors and stuff. As you can see, you can't really tell where too much of it ends. And then, of course, you'll learn these little fairy wings. And then the next one will be June, and it's not a bunny, but this is the customer appreciation one. But this is the little gazelle bird with the
Yeah, we said what those berries were, didn't we?
they're what berries?
The berries on the underneath him.
Yeah, they're Cape something berries.
Okay.
That's terrible that I'm losing my thought here.
It's okay. It's late at night. It's
Gooseberries.
a
They're
Friday.
gooseberries.
Gooseberries.
Yeah, gooseberries. And that one's going to be on Saturday, July 19th from 11 to 5. And then August, we're back to our little bunnies. And we're going to do the Golden Bell Bunny. And that's going to be Monday, August the 11th from 12 to 5 Eastern. So all my bunnies have a different flower. And of course, their colors are changed with them. And then September, we have our Bleeding Heart Bunny. And that's going to be Saturday, September the 6th. And there again, I show where you can blend these colors together. And then for October, we got our Tiger Lily Bunny. And this one's going to be Wednesday, October the 1st. And then I just got this one finished today, so I don't have a tag for it. This is my Snapdragon Bunny.
Oh, so precious. So very precious. Now, are these flowers flowers of the month, or are they just flowers that you you love.
They're just flowers I kind of used. Well, I guess daisies kind of bloom about now, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And snapdragons, I know some bloom in November. And then I just wanted orangey colors for October,
That's
kind of like
perfect. Yeah.
fall colors.
Mm.
And then, of course, the bleeding heart for September. I just liked it.
I love bleeding hearts.
And then, of course, the golden bell. Um, let's see. What did I say? This
And
was
these are all
October.
strange.
This is November. And I'll probably do
A Christmas
uh
one.
I'm trying to decide whether to do poinsettia bunny or not
Okay.
for Christmas. I mean, for December.
Right.
And then I could always do a crocus for I can switch cameras here. Not that any better looking at me. But there's crocuses, daffodils, um well, I guess the tiger lilies are kind of a lily. Oh, there's the what do you call them? Lily of the valleys, those little ones,
Those are pretty.
bluebells. I mean, there's
Yeah.
just so many possibilities. Oh, clematis.
Right. Did you do one with roses?
Yeah, I can do roses too.
Because that could be a nice Mother's Day.
Oh,
May.
yeah, that would be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So many. So
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
I'm
I
looking
have,
forward to them.
it's weird. I've got this list of flowers that I've kept thinking, okay, what kind of flowers are there?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd that piece of paper go? Ran away. But I was sitting here making all kinds of lists, flowers, and here's more of a list.
There you go.
Oh,
There's a
anyway,
lot.
but I thought the bunnies, um, I don't know. There's just all kinds of sorts of different things to.
Absolutely. Bonnie says, love to see Magnolia. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'll write that down. I don't know if I got that wrote down or not.
There you go. But we have been keeping Debbie busy. So if you have any suggestions, go right ahead and let her know what they are. Otherwise, thank you so much for sharing your talents with us tonight. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us on
Yes.
Friday night. And that if you are going to be doing this, please post it so that we can see your beautiful flower and butterfly. And
Yes.
tag us, put the @ in front of our name so we can go look at it and ooh and ah, because that's as close as I'm going to get to doing any artwork is through you guys. So please post it so I can see.
Yeah, you can just use any colors you want.
Pretty much like who was it that said you can't make a mistake because all the butterflies. Bonnie said it. She goes, you can't make a mistake because flowers and in butterflies.
Yep.
So, absolutely. So, please share your talents with us too, everyone who's watching. And till next time, don't forget, we've got Debbie doing that bunny class, Daisy Bunny, on Monday. I'm trying to look to see. I think our next demo is on the 10th, Tuesday the 10th with Raw Style Cup. So come and join us again on that night. Other than that, I am going to say thank you once again. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Marion. Thank you,
Thank
Bonnie. Thank you,
you.
Norma and Linda. Everybody who's here, thank you so much and have a great weekend. Bye
Bye,
now.
everybody. Thank you.